All right, speaking of shenanigans, they got a brand new shenanigans show coming on the air, Brian. Are we going to have to watch another TV show? They're rebooting the American Gladiators. And I don't mean that in a violent kick in the ass kind of way. I mean in a fresh restart with young, fresh faces and a new network of some description. And they're going to have some wrestlers on it this time. Did you hear about this?
Well, this time, I guess you could say almost every time, because the last time they brought it back was maybe a little less than 20 years ago with Hulk Hogan and Layla Ali hosting it. And I think, who was that? Matt Morgan was one of the gladiators, wasn't he?
Matt Morgan was he was Gladiator. See, that's an old joke.
Awful,
see, you got
awful, just terrible.
See, I just gave you the punchline without actually giving you the rest of the setup and everything, but you could get it. But yes, Matt Morgan gladiatorified for a while. And that was, I think, 2006-ish, thereabouts.
Yeah, somewhere in that range, yeah.
And of course, the original show from the late 80s, you know, it was one of the phenomenons of syndication for a couple of years. And I remember watching it in, even I was on the road in various hotels, or you'd catch it late night reruns, whatever. It was syndicated everywhere. And they had the American Gladiators, the good looking, athletic gladiators who had the spandex outfits. They looked like wrestlers, men and women. And they had, individual gimmick names. I can't remember them all. Fire and Ice and Brimstone.
Turbo.
I don't know what the Turbo.
Laser.
There you go.
Diamond.
Poor Freckles never made it. And he was hell.
Clubfoot really had a rough time.
Clubfoot was another one that had a rough time going over the wall.
But you know what? The original American Gladiators, again, a wrestling connection beyond the one I think you're going to go to. Mike Adamle was one of the commentators, future Raw general manager, and the proof that editing could really make someone seem like a great commentator. He was great on there with Larry Zonka, but at least
what did Mike Adamle do in the middle? He was
Mrs. Adamle.
In between America. Oh, come on now! In between, stop it, you prevert. In between American Gladiators and when he actually came to the WWE, he had done some type of legitimate sports, had he not?
I believe he had done commentary. He was a retired football player.
Whatever the case.
It was on in New York. It was on after WWF Superstars on Saturday mornings. So it was kind of, you thought of it almost going with wrestling. It was part of that little block of, there was in 1989 Rock and Roller Games, but American Gladiators was kind of a steady one right after wrestling.
Well, yeah, in 70s, it was wrestling and roller derby. And like late 80s, early 90s, it was wrestling American Gladiators. And you had to, it was like the challenge shows that, you see now where people have to goddamn navigate some kind of obstacle course or climb and succeed in some kind of endeavor to win something. You had to compete against the gladiators. And you mentioned the connection I'm going to make, but Rico Constantino, when he came to OVW, it had been a number of years before that because we met. Rico had 18 careers. He was a cop and a security guard, a paramedic and a bodyguard and a fucking double knot spy, whatever. But he had been one of the contestants on the American Gladiators, and he's one of the only, I think, handful of people that actually won anything, because normally the Gladiators just wiped these people out.
I believe Rico may have been actually the very first episode of American Gladiators, like the debut of the series, the pilot, I guess, technically.
Yeah, it may have, as a matter of fact, well, you know better than I do, because I'm old now. But so anyway, this has been, the problem was it was a phenomenon at one time, and it kind of burned out. It's not like, I think they tried to do some type of live appearances or whatever, but it wasn't like you could take the whole game and the whole show on the road easily.
There's a documentary about American Gladiators that's tremendous because it's kind of in that period of time. Again, early 90s, about what wrestling was doing on the road, and they talk about going on the road and what that was like and all the steroids and everything else. It's really a good...
all the steroids.
No, it's very similar to wrestling of that time. It's very interesting.
But so anyway, the first time around, it was good. Second time, they got network for Hogan and Ali's daughter, right?
They did.
I think, yeah.
I think that was the problem. It's weird to say, but I feel like in a different time when people sat around on weekend mornings and watched TV or local TV, that was perfection for syndicated television. I don't know if it works in 2020, 2006 or 2007, whatever it is, versus now. It's a different.
Yeah.
Some things aren't meant for prime time, even though you would think inherently, wow, it's going to be prime time. That'll really give it a big boost. I don't know.
Well, and see, that's the thing is that the first time around in syndication, it was more popular than it was the second time around when it was on network. And now this is going to be the third time around. And but now the parameters are so much lower on the amount of viewers that you need, or just everything. Because again, as we've talked about, when I was a kid, there was 3 TV stations. They were on the air from 6 a.m. to fucking maybe 1 in the morning, and if it was on, it had to be good somehow. Now there's 1,000 stations, and there's 14 people watching fucking everything at any given point. So
no, seriously, sometimes you hear about like some television stations numbers like, fuck, we have more people listening to this than this station that I hear so much about, and that
yes,
we don't get time on the CBS morning show. They're plugging their movies and their TV shows all over the place and no one watches.
Hey, but you know what? Shh. We don't want anybody to mess with our shit over here. But that's the point, is that now maybe they've hit the sweet spot, because I don't think it was ready for that big of an audience 20 years ago for network, but now it still won't be as popular as it was on syndication in the 90s, but the bar is lower. So they may be able to make a go out of it, as the kids say. But here's the cast has had some people in kind of a tizzy, because the Miz is going to be the host of this thing. And yeah, I will not deny that I think the Miz's greatest talents lay in hosting game shows. So I think this is perfect. I'm not going to argue with it a bit. But the cast of Gladiators, in addition to whoever else they've got, has 4 people with a connection to pro wrestling.
Oh no, more than that, I think, because I have a thing here.
Do you have? I saw 4. Do you have give me the list?
I have an article from the Hollywood Reporter. Amazon finds its American Gladiators and hires 106 and Park co-host as sideline reporter. This is an exclusive.
What's 106 and Park, by the way?
It's a popular thing for people other than you. It's on BET.
Other than me? Okay, all right.
Gladiators, ready? Amazon Prime Video's American Gladiators reboot has found its gladiators, whom the Hollywood Reporter can first reveal. The new season will feature 16 gladiators, 8 women and 8 men, ages 22 to 38, and standing 5'5" to 6'5", weighing between 140.
Now wait, I'd like to know if any of the men are 5'5" or any of the women are 6'5".
Weighing between 140 and 270 pounds. It's a weird way to look at.
Yeah, just a wide range there. Really, again, those women sound impressive. I'm not sure all the men are.
Picked from across the country. The group includes bodybuilders, pro wrestlers, former Division I athletes, CrossFit champions, and military veterans. The series will be hosted by WWE superstar The Miz, Mike "The Miz" Mizanin. His sidekicks will be the sideline reporter Rossi Diaz, the former co-host of BET's 106 in Park. The Hollywood Reporter has learned exclusively. Sports commentator Chris Rose will be on play-by-play. He hosts NFL Game Day Final on the NFL Network alongside Maurice Jones-Drew. Let me scroll down now. It's just talking about her and him.
Yeah.
The Miz will have 5 professional wrestlers keeping the show's contenders in check. Eric Bugenhagen, a.k.a. Rick Boogs,
This was the guy, and he's apparently a great legitimate athlete, but
Yeah.
that was the guy with the horrible name that was made a stooge for who's he, what's he a while back.
And he got hurt, and physically he was as impressive as anyone, and he had a legitimate background, and they gave him a silly comedy thing where he played guitar, I think.
That's right.
Michael Wardlow, a.k.a. Wardlow.
We found him. We found him. Where's Wardlow? There's Wardlow.
We thought it was potentially the mountain Darby was climbing. It was actually a mountain of styrofoam that he's waiting to get shot off. But also Jesse Godders, a.k.a. Mr. Pectacular.
Yeah, I've never seen this guy wrestle, I don't think, but I think he lives here in Louisville because I've seen his name affiliated with Ohio Valley Wrestling for years, way back before the West Fabersham people bought him, back when it was still an American product. He's been with OVW for like years and years now, but he was a reality TV show guy, so I guess he's still wanting to do the reality TV.
Here's another name, Jessica Roden, a.k.a. the Ultimate Athlete, J-Rod. I'm not familiar with her, are you?
I've not heard that name.
And Kaylee Latimer, a.k.a. Camille.
Camille!
So we found out what mountain she was on.
Well, we found out what mountain she was buried under. Wardlow and Camille are now going to be on a brand new television program on what network is this, Brian, or service? Or
Amazon Prime.
Amazon Prime. Could be a big new TV show that requires you to be big and athletic and compete in a variety of physical endeavors. And Wardlow obviously is on the bigger side. He's probably the 6'5", 275, although Camille is definitely better than 5'5" and 140. So they've been chosen to be American fucking gladiators by this TV company. And look at the putrid physical specimens that are on display on AEW television every Wednesday night. And these two, they couldn't figure out a way to put them on television. And they can't figure out a way now that they're not on their television. They can't get any cross promotion out of it. They can't be saying, oh, look, Wardlow's dominant in our ring and he's also an American gladiator. Because Wardlow is a missing fucking person in AEW. And so is Camille. Because she outshone, apparently, the fucking cash cow, or should I say cash camel, that is Josephine Camel herself, Mercedes Moon. You pay $5 million for a lemon, and you get a bargain on a Fabergé egg, so you toss the egg in the trash, and you put the lemon on TV every week. Bravo. So how is it that the two most famous AEW wrestlers about to be on the roster are, to the average non-wrestling fan, are not even on the television show?
I guess the big question will be, what does Tony do after this? There have been rumors that they have a plan for Wardlow, that he may have gotten hurt again, or
how the fuck? What
there were plans.
What do you think? Is this the American Gladiator Special Olympics version where he can compete in a wheelchair? If he can be a gladiator, why can't he be a pro wrestler?
Well, again, let's see what Tony does after this, and the big question will be Camille. She disappeared. There's a ready-made thing for her to get revenge on Mercedes Moné. But even if you didn't want to do that, there's other things. Will Tony bring Camille back and do something with her after this exposure? And you got to figure Amazon's going to pour a ton in promoting this. And what will their names be? I mean, that's the other thing. Gladiators had names. It says here in the article, Gemini, Lace, Nitro, Zap. Just as 4 examples there. So it's not like it's going to be Wardlow, Camille, It'll be, fire and Nordic.
I still like fucking Clubfoot.
Clubfoot. Maybe that'll be Wardlow. Maybe he did get hurt. Maybe it'll be Clubfoot. The unexpected Clubfoot.
That was what they called the Inferno that wore the loaded boot.
That was
Frankie
the gimmick.
Kane, but they called him Inferno Clubfoot.
It's the most underrated thing you don't see anymore, the loaded boot. I got to see it a little bit with Tom Pritchard doing it, but like you watch The Grappler even, and that's not Frankie Kane. It's effective and it's cool, and it's an addictive thing. As a fan, you start doing it with your own shit. Like, can I hit my foot like that? What would I be knocking into where?
Yes. Well, do you know in my vault I have Tom Boots?
Tom Boot? I've been looking for him.
I have Tom Pritchard. You son of a bitch. I have Tom Pritchard's boot gimmick.
Oh, no way.
Because see, some of the guys had the loaded boot. They would, they would just load it. It would be in the built-up sole, but he didn't have a built-up sole. He had a thing he could pull out of his tights and slip it over the toe of his boot with an elastic piece that went around the heel. And then he would do the fucking enziguri with the fucking gimmick on the boot and then take it off the boot. And the referee would be none the wiser.
Well, so again, I can't
either
speak.
Either Wardlow or Camille can have the loaded boot on the Gladiator.
I can't speak to who will be the Clubfoot or if there will be one, but the other thing that I think hurts it, and we'll see what they do here, but the fact they have a host in The Miz, it could be a host in anybody. It's not about The Miz. That's what worries me, because what originally made it work, one of the things, what made it work is people wanted to try that and do that. I want to try out for that. I wish I could do that. Even kids, I wish there was an obstacle course somewhere like this I could do it. But it was treated really seriously. It's like wrestling. Like Mike Adamle and Larry Zonka called this thing like it was the Super Bowl. Like it was a professional. There was no tongue-in-cheek. There were no skits. There was no host for no reason, really. It was about, we're here at this athletic event in this, you never really thought about it. Like, are they in a warehouse? Where the hell are they? We're here at this thing here in this unnamed location, and we're going to have all these events. And it worked because it was treated seriously. I think the presentation's a large part of it, and the commentators are important, but when you start hearing there'll be a host, it's going to be the Miz hamming it up for the camera, because that's what he does. That's why you hire someone like that, That's what worries me.
I see where you're coming from. Well, it worries me anytime that the Miz is around, but at least it ain't a wrestling show.
I had those toys when they put out American Gladiators toys when I was a kid, and they each came with like a different, I don't know what you would say, different obstacle that they would be in charge of, like shooting the missiles or the javelin or whatever the hell. It was awesome.
What was the name of the impressive looking blonde woman with the statuesque?
Bubbles.
No, quit now. No, she had the feathered fan down on 7th Street Road. We're not talking about her. Bubbles and her feathered fan, 3 shows nightly. I'll tell you, Brian, here's the thing. Whether you're going to do 3 shows nightly or 1 show nightly or just sleep 1 time a night, you don't want to just sleep on feathers anymore. You do not want to do that, because back in the old days, they'd pluck a duck or they'd choke a chicken, and they would just take the feathers and they'd shove it in a sheet, and they'd sew the seams up. They'd sew the seams of the sheet, and then you'd have to sleep on that. Sometimes there'd be goose shit or duck doo-doo or chicken caca or whatever in there, and it would drip out through the sack, and then it would, especially if you slept face down, it's just like putting your face right into a chicken sphincter.
This is a bit gross. I don't know where you're going. Are we still talking about American Gladiators?
No. We're talking now about the Helix sleep mattresses that they've got now. Because see, back when I was a child, all you could do was sleep on chicken shit covered fucking feathers wrapped in a dirty sheet.
When you were a child?
And you liked it.
When you were a child?
Yeah, back in those days. See, that's before that people had modern conveniences like Helix. But now that they've got the modern conveniences like Helix, there's no reason in the world not to have a Helix mattress in your own home, because it's not only the best one made today, but also you don't have to leave the house to get it. You don't have to go to one of the stores, and then it's not a big giant thing that it takes 5 people to haul into your house. They knock over your various furniture, they knock over your antiques, they knock over your ceramic goose. It comes in a box. The Helix does ceramic after goose. You choose it. Yeah, your ceramic goose, it'd break that long neck. Well, and when you get it, the box of the Helix mattress.
Wonderful box.
You can put it right in your home wherever you need it, then take it out of the box and poof, it becomes. But you can pick. They've got the Elite mattress collection. They've got the Luxe mattress collection. They've got mattresses that cool you down. They got mattresses for the kids. They got mattresses for your mother-in-law. And boy, you ought to see the fucking restraints on those things.
Okay, there are no restraints. They come with no restraint. Let's clear this up. They come with no restraints.
The mother-in-law model was the ball gag. I got a temporary promotion.
Not from Helix. Again, let's talk about the fine products from Helix. I love them here at my house. I have them. My family sleep on Helix mattresses. I know you have them. I was just talking to my buddy G the other day where he's going to probably get one soon for his daughter. I need to get a new one for my daughter. I choose Helix.
I think you need to take a sip of the decaf and slow down a little bit.
I choose Helix.
Yes.
Oh, no, that just fell. Oh, Helix is great. Well, tell him, Jim.
While you're picking that up, I'll lay this down. Folks, right now, they got a big 4th of July sale going on early, because it's obviously not the 4th of July yet, but exclusive for the listeners of the Jim Cornette Experience. Starting right now, when you hear this, you can go to helixsleep.com/JCE, 27% off site-wide. Now, that's a pretty stiff daggum discount, stiffer than the normal discounts that we're able to offer. So if you want something stiff in your mattress, then you better jump now.
That's not even a good, I don't even know what the hell you're trying to do there. Once again, that is a stiff, or as we say it, a great deal.
Yes.
27% off. And these are great mattresses. We endorse them. We love them. You will love them. And let's just focus on love.
Again, it's the modern times. You don't need to sleep on sacks of chicken shit or, goose dander with miscellaneous wood shavings. You can go for professional or barbed wire. And there's the talk about the asbestos. We've mentioned there's no asbestos in the Helix mattresses. And chloroform is also banned. There's no a lot of mattresses you get these days, you got a chloroform problem. It'll set off your chloroform. You got a chloroform detector in your house, don't you?
Again, there's no problem with Helix, no chloroform problem. These are great.
You'll sleep the natural
mattresses,
way.
The natural great way with a natural great mattress. Helix, just for you.
See, that's what a lot of mattresses use to trick you into thinking that they're comfortable and you sleep well. They're soaked in chloroform, but Helix don't have to do that.
Helix does not do that. That's what we're saying.
That's what I'm saying. They don't have to, because they're going to put you to sleep. Boom. Just like a tap on the head with a caveman's club.
They won't put you to sleep.
You're going to nod out.
They'll be there to catch you on your way down.
You should lay down first. Lay down first, because if you go to sleep standing up, you never know. You could fall the other way.
Well, Helix will fall the right way, right there for you. Fall on your mattress, go to sleep. Helix Sleep. Jim. Oh, you hear that? You know what that means.
Yes, I know what that means.
Yeah.
helixsleep.com/JCE. The big 4th of July sale early right now. 27% off site-wide. helixsleep.com/JCE.